midlife marriage. So excited. Don't leave if you've been married for, if you've been married at all and you're a midlife woman, you definitely want to stick around for this. Okay, hey, Suzanne, welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Let me get Jamie in here.
While
good.
Yeah, while you're getting Jamie on, I'll just tell those people that have joined us already. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, guys.
We're just going to talk just for a second about how we got all this thing started. Midlife Besties. And, Karen has a business with Saint Makeup. I have a business with Theorem Hair Care. And Jamie has the evidence of it. But we decided not too long ago, we have not done this, a whole long time, but we're getting better at it. We're so excited that, we had a lot in common, and we have a lot in common with all of you who are listening in. And we wanted to celebrate you. We wanted to share with you guys, not that we really set out to be TV show hosts, but we are.
It's so fun.
Anyway, that's the Midlife Besties is Karen and I, and we are having the most fun, just, talking, having conversations with different people. And we're so honored to have Jamie Baily from Expedition Marriage today. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. I am excited about this. This is like total girl time here, and I love it. I love it.
Yay.
Yes. Get down to the spill the tea.
Absolutely. I'm all about that. Oh, goodness. Well, I know Karen is going to kick us off our conversation today with a question for you, Jamie.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah. So, definitely, I've been married for 35 years now, and got married when I was like, 18.
Yeah.
Basically, but I got married when I was 20, so pretty young. But super excited to talk to you about this, because I think, as you become empty nesters, as if you've been married for a long time, or even if you've just been married, but you're in this stage of life, right? It's a little different, isn't it? So, how do our marriages change as we get older? Whether we're brand new or we've been married for 35 plus years. And tell us a little bit about that and what you do, Jamie.
Yes. Well, I am a marriage counselor, so this is what I do for a living, but there are so many things that change, and as we get older, just as individuals, we change so much. And I think, the top issues for our demographic, midlife, marriages and stuff are going to be financial problems. Okay. There's a lot of financial stressors, and you got kids going to college, and then, did I save enough for our future? And we realize I'm halfway done with my life. And am I ready, for that? And dealing with kids is another issue, one of the top number one issues. And then sexual issues. That's a big one. Those are your three big ones in midlife marriages. But I think the biggest thing is we forget how to pivot. And people don't handle change well. And I think the number one, saboteur will say for midlife marriages is kind of denial. Yeah. And it's wanting to hold on to everything in the past.
Yeah.
And we're not aging gracefully. We're not checking in with one another. And what you guys do is so beautiful, because, Karen, I love, you're like, we're for the 50-year-old women and up. So you can, we're not trying to wear the heavy black eyeliner anymore and do all that. And Suzanne, we're not like doing our hair. And, we have to be realistic about where we are in life.
Yeah.
And when we have these goals, we have these visions of marriage and all the things we should be able to do, but they don't match up with our reality. We're going to be disappointed all the time. And I think couples in our age demographic really struggle with letting go of everything they used to have and used to be able to do, and now transitioning. And so I think the transition is the biggest problem for most marriages.
I think you're right. Yeah. Cause you mentioned pivot, because, now we're maybe only cooking for two, and we're, wishing that we were more needed with our children, or, they're so darn independent now.
Yes.
So, I think that it's important that we establish to begin with that there's a whole spectrum of marriage issues that you guys deal with. and I think that, you know, there are the whole spectrum of we need help to survive before we, you know, do something we wish we hadn't do. And then there's, you know, the other spectrum that we want to live life to the fullest. How can we have more fun? How can we be enriched and really enjoy these years together? So tell us, you know, what are some ideas? I know Chris is super fun and he injects all the, you know, the FUN into life every day. But now tell us some ideas of, you know, how do we inject fun into our marriage so that we're not two separate lives living together?
Yeah.
And that's key what you just said right there, because that's what happens is we start to live two separate lives. And if, you know, there have been divorced couples that have been surveyed, massive amounts of them, and like 83% say one of the things that happened is they grew apart.
Yeah.
They drifted apart. And that's really easy to do when you've been focusing on raising the kids and doing all this. And there's actually, you know, something called empty nest syndrome,
right?
Where, you know, we lose our sense of purpose. We all of a sudden, you know, we thought we had control. And so we feel like we've lost any amount of control. We have grief. Our kids are leaving. Our bodies are changing. We miss that we can't do things. And one of the best ways, we have a whole lot of stressors at these stages. And one of the best ways to deal with stress is joy. We combat, the more joy, the more fun we have in our lives, the easier all those changes are to handle. And so that's one of the big things we want to do, because we can get stuck in that. And if you want to have fun, like my husband will lead the way on that. And I think he's the reason why we are as strong as we are, because he's so joy-filled. And he's so fun. And when you're now in a different stage where it is just the two of you, it's about how do we reinvent ourselves? How do we reinvent, you know, who we are? Because there's different things. And one of the biggest things is our lives are supposed to be shared. And when you're at this stage where it's just the two of you, you're trying to create a shared journey. And that's going to mean sitting down, having conversations. Talking about new things, you know, reading a book together and talking about it, getting more flirtatious, maybe going back, redoing some of your older dates and just fun things. And, you know, sitting down, talking to each other. And it's like, what are you interested in now? What's your ideal for us? What do you see for us? And then start exploring. We do dumb little things. We have a convertible and we live in the Carolinas, and we will just go sunset time and just drive. Right. Just provide opportunity. And sometimes we'll listen to a book in the car that we can discuss. And I know this is like, ooh, that's so exciting.
No,
but there are things that connect us and that we share. And, you know, every decade of marriage kind of has a theme. You know, when we're in our 20s, you've got the theme of, you know, that's idealistic. You're dreaming, you're thinking, oh, everything is wonderful. We're going to do this and that, and it's going to be great. And then you enter the 30s and it's time to be kind of industrious. Now I've got kind of good energy here. My head's out of the clouds a little bit. You know, my feet are hitting the pavement, and we're going to make and create and do all that. Then you hit the 40s, and which is where some of us might be, you know, 40s gets into that midlife category. And these are the intense times. You have 40% more responsibility in your 40s than you did when you were 20. And so this is where things get a little rocky. This is where a lot of divorces start to happen, because life seems to be more about, okay, I built all this, but now I've got to pay for all the things. I've got to pay for my, you know, my kids and for different things. And you start getting more future focused, but you're also dragging a lot of stuff you created with you, you know, from
all
behind.
those expectations, you know, all those that may or may not have been met in that disappointment a little bit.
And they're teenagers.
And men in particular, when they start entering that stage between 40s and 50s, that's when they really look back and go, do I have what I want? Did I, you know, what has my life been for? What have I built? And a lot of men will leave a marriage because of that, because they realize I didn't do it. And they think their answer is outside of their marriage. And that's why, you know, there's something called a gray divorce trend. And that's for 50-year-olds and older. It has tripled. Divorces for our age group have tripled since 1990.
Wow.
That's massive. That's massive.
Yeah.
And it's all about, you've got, instead of, you know, like you were talking about having the shared journey, it becomes, what do I want and what do I want? Men want to go back. They want to feel young. They do not handle, you know, getting a little bald spot. They don't handle, you know, coming to terms with their age. And women, we hit like 40s and 50s and we start going, how do I reinvent myself?
Yeah.
But we rarely think, how do we reinvent our marriage?
Us.
Right.
Yeah.
How do we reinvent a mission for us? And that's kind of what the 50s and 60s, this is the years, these are the years to be influential.
Right.
And that is so huge. These are the times where it's like, let's come together. Let's make our marriage with a higher purpose. Let's do more. We've got this whole demographic of younger people who we want to give them what we have.
Yeah.
And some of that needs to be fun and connection and all of that. And so simple things like just playing cards at night, going for drives, getting together. Yes. Yeah. Getting together with friends, you know, is just huge, but we want to create something that we want others to replicate. And that's what these years of our marriage is about. It's like, it's time to buckle down and make it something big. Make it something that everybody wants to have.
You know, I'm going to say, Jane, for me and my husband, I don't know, I always felt, well, I don't have any girls. So I always felt like I was just like me and the boys. I have 2 grown sons. I do have a daughter-in-law now, but, you know, I always felt like, you know, I was just, I'm the only girl in the house. And I didn't know, you know, I don't have a whole lot in common, except for, you know, like the kids. And like you said, just surviving and you know, keeping that going. And now, you know, one of our sons does live with us. He's disabled, but we are pretty much empty nesters. I just feel like, so he does his thing. He goes to work. I work at home. He comes home. He goes in one room. I go in the other room. We have our own TVs to watch. We have our own, you know, and I think we've just, this really bad habits that I'm setting in my marriage, you know.
Before we go on, I want to,
yeah.
I want to interrupt just a minute and say, you know, if you're listening, this is not just a 3-way conversation. Please feel free to interject comments or questions for Jamie or, you know, for any of us. And we do want you to participate. Of course, you can, you know, listen in because there's some definite gems that we have to go for. But I think, you know, part of the answer might be is developing community together with other people. How would you address that, Jamie?
No, that is huge. I mean, that's something God tells us to do. You know, that's where we get our encouragement and support. And that's where we can pray for one another. And we have increased empathy, you know, when we're in groups, and we're meant to do life together. We are designed for relationship. And when we enter this stage of marriage, it becomes really easy to do what you're talking about, Karen. And it's like, this is the routine. This is what I know. And plus, let's be real, we're a little more tired. You know, we are a little more tired at this stage. And so it is about getting involved in like a life group at church or leading one. You know, grab a book, a marriage book or some kind of a book and have a book study. Be the leaders, open up your home. And you know, Chris and I, we are not big entertainers, meaning, you know, I'm not Miss Hospitality. If you come to my house, I'll cook for you, but it's likely going to be us on the grill, paper plates, casual, hanging out. If you enter my home, you need to treat it like home. And if you're not somebody who does know how to entertain in the sense of the word that we all think of, get over that. Open your doors, have people come over, have friends come over to have a movie night, have a Sunday, you know, night where you're just making banana splits and hanging out, play games together, you know, and it's so easy because everybody is longing for community, but also we're in a stage of life, and I think COVID and all that messed this all up too, where we all don't want to commit. We all kind of we've been trained to just stay home now.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, we long for community. And I know I'm an introvert. Friends will ask me out. I'm like, I don't really want to go. I'm not going to be mad if you cancel. I'm like waiting for the last minute cancellation. But every time I go, I'm fulfilled.
Right.
And it's the same way. So it's like, hey, you do a group text. Who wants to come over? We're cooking out tonight. Who wants to come play, you know, this game or something like that with us? And so, but we're all waiting for somebody else to do that. but we need to start taking ownership and doing that ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this was a really great comment here from, just like, how married, I never understood how married people over 25 years can get a divorce. And I get that kind of like, well, you made it this far, you might as well stick it out. Right. But yeah, this really does make sense. She mentioned here, she's been married over 30 years and feeling that disconnect. I think it's so easy to get into these, I don't want to call them bad habits, but it's almost like a lazy marriage, getting into laziness, of complacency, where we just don't put enough into it. Yeah.
And we talk about that a lot because we're big advocates for don't settle for a mediocre marriage. Like, and in God's eyes, that's lukewarm. That's the stuff where God's like, I'm going to spit that out. Mediocre is just, it's blindsiding us. It's keeping us from what we're really meant to have. And that's not it. And so, and our tagline is enjoy the journey. And that's from day one till, you're in the grave. We should be enjoying. You're going to have ups and downs in marriage for sure. But, how that happens, how divorces happen at that stage is, first of all, the average couple will suffer in their marriage or be miserable in their marriage for 6 years before they reach out for help.
Wow.
And if you let it go longer than that, and that kind of becomes your normal, you're going to hit a wall that says, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't, it's not what marriage is made to be. And if you've just coasted in mediocrity, you're eventually going to hit a wall where a man's going to hit the wall that like, no, I want more. I want to feel young and vibrant. You're just not giving that to me anymore. And they start getting more selfish and they'll leave. The women will be like, you are lazy. You're not doing anything. I want more. And it's all you want to do is sit in the recliner. And then all of a sudden they pivot and they both start shifting and drifting apart. And the drift apart happens and you get so far on that journey that it's like, well, you're closer to out than you are in.
Right.
Boy, is that a phrase to really repeat, you really are, especially when your kids at college or are married and have moved out or, there's not that tether, I think sometimes that says, okay, no, we got to keep together. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, this might be easier.
Yeah. And you got to remember that if a man is not feeling fulfilled, he's going to gravitate to the point where he is fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
So someone else mentioned in the questions, my husband's friending girls on Instagram or whatever, So, I mean, I think that it's our responsibility, but it's also we are married to one another and committed. So I think that is not okay.
No, it's not okay, but that is the tendency. And many men, 50 and up, if they get divorced, they will remarry younger. They will go after the younger women. And it's because it's not because there's something wrong with the wife. It's because they're seeking after the wrong thing, which is to feel vibrant again, to feel young. It's because they're in denial. They don't want to learn to pivot well. And like, again, back to what you guys do. We can be 50 and feel beautiful and feel vibrant, but we're not going to feel any of those things if we want to feel 20.
Right.
We're not 20. Right. And so it's about, okay, here's where I am. What's the best makeup for me now? What does my hair need for me now? What do I need for me now? What can I do now? But yeah, if you've got a husband and looking online and all that, that's a deal breaker situation. Yeah. That is don't just tolerate that. Do something about that. Call him out, get some help, because an all-in marriage, the marriages that last, and that's what we refer to as the all-in marriage, they have commitment. They have commitment. They're in. They embrace change. They learn to pivot well, and they learn we're at a new season. So now what are we going to do to make this season great? And they're a marriage that's focused on leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
They're constantly evaluating, going, is my marriage what I want to pass down to my children, to society? Is it how I want to represent God? And so that is what every marriage should have, and every marriage that's going to make it is going to have.
Yeah. That's great.
It's a team mentality, right? It's not an option.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So I know we talked about the whole sex thing. I'll just bring it up right now.
Yeah,
I think really, we might as well talk about it, because I feel like no matter, we can be like, well, I'm feeling good about myself, but there's still that, insecurities of your body changes, hormonal changes. I mean, I have no blah. It doesn't, like, it's not important. It's not on my top, like, 5 list.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, what are some things you can do to encourage and help us? And I'm talking about the women's side of it, like, you know, to bring that back where we feel comfortable and enjoy and happy, and it's a part of it, our marriage again.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it comes with having that connection, because we're not ever going to feel that with a husband who's always sitting on the couch, who's not talking to us, who we're going our different paths. And so do what you need to do to try to re-engage your connection. And that's having conversations. We created a course, and it's 10 minutes a day. It's called Restoring Connection. And it gives you questions. It gives you 4 videos. And it's just about, hey, 10 minutes, let's talk about things. And some of them are fun questions. Some of them are more serious. And we guide you through that, because reconnection can happen in 10 minutes a day. And when we feel connected, those desires come back.
Yeah.
They come back. And we all want to be fully known. And being fully known involves being physically fully seen. It involves being a lot of vulnerability and connection. And that makes, like, the most beautiful sex there is. But sometimes there are, you know, we're women, and let's be real, there are real hormonal, physical issues, you know, that we need to get. You know, I started struggling with perimenopause, and I went and I sought out a doctor. I now get testosterone injection pellets, and I take progesterone because I started having mood changes and all that. So some of it is, you know what, now is not the time to even focus on our sexual relationship, because we need to hit a realistic pause. And that's part of embracing change. Yeah. Because sometimes when the libidos tank, it's not, oh no, it's yeah, that happens. Yeah. So let's do what we need to do, hit pause, and, like, heal together. And we should be able to talk to one another about that. And then we actually hear from a lot of women whose husbands struggle with this. Their libidos drop. Sure. And now they're ready, but their husband isn't. And men aren't as good at addressing the issues. You know, and there's also things I've had many wives bring up to their husbands. There are online companies where men can spit in a tube and send it off and get their levels checked, their testosterone levels checked. A lot of men are way more likely to do that. But it becomes, all of these things are about fix what's broken. Talk about the issues. Don't sweep things under the rug. And the more emotionally connected, if you are having conversations, if you are laughing with your husband, if you are enjoying one another, and your hormones are in check and good, this isn't going to be an issue. Yeah. Okay. It's not going to be an issue. Yeah.
I agree.
Sense. And like you say, we're not, it's not that we're broken or that part's broken, but that's, like you said, a stage. A stage of not only our physical being, but a stage of a marriage. And talk about it. Yeah. That's, and not ignoring it and not be like, well, tomorrow, all of a sudden it's 3, 4, 5 years. And you're like, okay.
Yes. And a lot of women actually, you know, they struggle with missing this, because we're now, and what the women deal with that men don't typically, is we've been trying to keep up with societal norms for years, you know, and we worry what everybody thinks about us and all that. Well, when we start entering this age, we're like, I don't care. don't like me. I don't really care, you know. And so therefore these seasons, you know, in sex and marriage at that stage, this is supposed to be some of the best sex we're having. Yeah. You know, because we have a newfound freedom that it's like, yeah, I got a couple rolls, got a couple wrinkles and all that, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. You know? And so a healthy woman who is caring for themselves and, you know, getting the good quality hair treatment, getting the nice makeup that makes them feel beautiful, buying the cute outfits, you know, things that make them feel good, that helps with that as well. But we have a newfound freedom that a lot of our men don't.
Right. That is absolutely true. Absolutely. And they need to feel, especially when they get to the point of maybe they're retiring or maybe their job security is not as, you know, their world becomes a little more shaken, and you know, they need you know, they need that confirmation from us and that, you know, applause from us that
Yeah.
we appreciate them. And, you know, so, I mean, it's a two-way street. It's not like he's not doing what I, you know, need. But it's also,
Right.
it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So
Because our husbands put a lot of weight on their careers.
Yeah.
And what they
Right.
do. And what starts to happen, and they don't share with us, they don't come home and say, hey, honey, I'm feeling very inferior and all that, but they are.
Yeah.
They are. You know, men always are feeling like a fraud. Like somebody's about to find out that I'm not as good as people think that I am.
Right.
And they're at work and they're seeing all these young 20, 30-year-olds coming in, and they're getting older and older, and that's hard. And so they're living with the fear of I'm very replaceable now. I'm replaceable. And then they shift right over into retirement and they don't do anything with their lives.
Yeah.
And now they feel purposeless and all that. And that's not the way that it's supposed to be. I mean, that shift is a big shift. And if you're not communicating, you're missing that. Yeah. He's missing what's going on with you and you're missing what's going on with him. Because we will not guess that. You will not look at your grumpy husband sitting in a recliner and go, oh, baby, you must be feeling inadequate.
Yeah. Or
no.
No, we're saying, why are you so grouchy? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And like you said, yeah, definitely. Susan, did we see was there a question up there?
There was a question. Let's see.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. What are some tips you can share on how to feel sexy? It's all, you know, really, my husband will, I'll joke, you know, I go up and down with my weight, and that's a big deal from all women, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to have, you know, whatever, all the roles, whatever. And he's always said, you know, that doesn't matter to me, but
it matters to us.
Yeah.
But you know, how can we feel sexy about ourselves, feel that way? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And as women, first of all, we need to give ourselves a lot of grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to, because, you know, I'm never going to look at you, Karen, and go, well, your weight's going up and down and all that. Or you look like, but I will look at myself all day long and think,
oh, yeah.
And we need to, you know, take these thoughts and hold them captive. We need to very much watch what we're saying to ourselves, because you're never going to feel like if a friend came over, woke you up in the morning and said, wow, don't you look like crap? Your hair's all messed up. That's an extra 10 pounds. They're not going to be a friend, and we're going to kick them right out of our room.
Yeah. But
yet we will wake up and tell ourselves those same things and not think anything of it. And because what we tell ourselves, we receive as truth.
Right.
And so, first of all, we've got to watch what we're saying to ourselves. And there needs to be that realistic grace. Our hormones are all over the place. Of course, we're going to be up and down with our weight. Our hair's going to thin. It's going to change color, all of those things. So we'll look at ourselves and compare ourselves to a 20-year-old or how we were at 20. We've got to be realistic that, you know what, part of aging is your body changing a little bit. Yeah. Is your face changing a little bit? And that's okay. But that's why it is important to go, you know what, I'm going to invest in something that's going to make me feel good. And that might be your hair, that might be your makeup, a couple new outfits, things like that. But also, the more you laugh, the better you feel.
That's
and
true.
If you can increase that laughter with your husband and tell jokes and all of that, buy things that make you look cute. My husband, for me, one of the things I would do when we lived in a 2-story house, I would get ready, because what would happen, I'm like, okay, I feel cute today. And I go downstairs and my husband would say nothing.
Yeah.
And now I'm mad at him. This poor guy has no idea what is happening. I'm like, just never mind. It's all zap. Well, one of the things I will do, I'll be halfway down the stairs. And I'm like, Christopher, you're going to think I'm cute. There you go. I'm cute today. I'm feeling. And he knows, get under those stairs and be ready to tell my wife how cute she is. And now I'm already feeling it, and I'm not setting him up for failure.
Yes.
And stuff. So I have these unmet expectations that I haven't even voiced, but that's a fun, because nobody wants to say, it defeats the purpose if we say, do you think I look cute today? And then it's like, are you sure?
Make me look that?
Right. And so just own it and go, you know what? I am cute. And I'm going to encourage my husband to tell me that too. And go, you're going to think I'm cute. You're going to think these pants make my butt look good. Whatever it is, add playfulness to it. Add fun to it.
Yeah. And we can't expect them to think you know, to say that. We do have to sort
Right.
of set them up for, you know, that success. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We laugh all the time. Try the trending tortilla challenge.
Oh. Yeah, smack each other with tortillas.
That's funny. So Jamie, I know we've talked a lot about, you know, tell us what you guys offer as far as, you know, I know you offer marriage counseling for, you know, those people who really need to heal, but also on the other side, you have retreats, right? For enriching and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We do. We will hold retreats.
Yeah.
Right now we don't have a home because we're building a home, but when that happens around October, hopefully, so they say, we actually do weekend reboots where couples can come stay with us for an entire weekend, and we do marriage reboots. But we have our podcast where we give all kinds of, you know, these tips and things. We try to be really short, to the point, and practical with that. But we also have a couple courses. You know, we have one that's called the Stress Rescue, which, because if you're under high stress, everything's gonna tank in your marriage, you know, and we don't handle life well, and we just get in this stress pit. And so it's like you can use it as a date night, you know, to do it an hour and a half to 2 hours, and you work through all of it, and you learn how to lean on each other. And because that's the thing we forget that our spouse is supposed to be one of our biggest resources.
Right.
And men aren't really good at asking for help. But this is a way that it's like, you know what, here, my wife is actually a valuable resource to me, and I'm missing out on a lot because I'm not bringing my struggles to her. So that, and then the Restoring Connection course, where it's just 4 weeks of questions. You have an app for it, and you just get the questions. You watch a short video once a week, and you're connecting, and you're talking, and you're laughing, and you're getting into their heart, and you're asking questions that you probably have not ever asked them before.
Yeah.
So we try to provide courses and podcasts and all the things we do here on social media, because, man, you got to be enjoying the journey. We're supposed to be enjoying this journey.
That's really true. Do you guys do any kind of personality
profiling?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we are very familiar with the Enneagram, so we use that all the time. And so, you know, in Myers-Briggs, we don't do the testings, but we talk about that. And the more we know people, the more we're like, I'm suspecting this is you. And because that's very insightful too.
Sure.
Those are great. Those aren't tools that put you in a box. They're tools that give you insight to go, this is why I think this way, and this is why my husband thinks this way. And so that help us gain understanding. So yeah, we make use of the Enneagram quite a lot.
Yeah, my husband is an engineer, and I am not. We analyze a lot of things, and you know, I've learned that is just part of his process, and it sometimes adds such value to our home that you know, I am so appreciative of that. But you know, he appreciates that I'm more creative. So I mean, I think you have to really appreciate what the other brings to the team, and you know, work with both of those together, right?
Yeah,
that's right. And it never stops. We should never stop doing that.
Yeah.
And some of the things change, and that looks different all throughout marriage. And so it's about, you know, and some of those things that they do that we don't like, they're there to help us grow.
Yeah.
Right.
They're to, you know, humble us and help us grow. My husband is the slowest guy in the world. Like, he takes forever to do things. And I'm constantly irritated with that. But when I look at it differently, what me being upset with him being slow means that I need to grow in my patience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so it's flipping those flaws on their head, and also looking at it like, gosh, I love that he helps me slow down.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I need the slowness that he has.
Yeah.
So he's not catching up with any of my things quite yet to my standard yet, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably not nearly as impulsive either. He's methodical and
Yes. Yeah. That is so true.
Yeah. Opposites attract. That is so.
Yes, they do.
Well, this has been so great. This has been so great. It really has. Jamie, just tell us again all of the places that everybody can find you. You know, how we can get to your podcast, you know, your web, all your different programs. I'm really excited about that. The 10 minutes a day. Where do you lead us? Where should we go find you?
So our big hub is expeditionmarriage.org.
Okay.
And you'll see the tabs where our podcast is, our blogs. We have tons of articles. and all of our resources are going to be frontline. And we've got free challenges like our 30-day praying for your husband or 30-day praying for your wife is a great one. That's one of our most popular ones, and that's totally free.
Okay.
So that helps us shift our perspective over what we're looking at our husbands, for and like. And so, but everything's at expeditionmarriage.org.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, and just, I get such a kick out of you and Chris. You're working together for one thing. Okay?
Yes.
Imagine working with my husband full time. But I better prepare for it because soon we'll both,
that's right.
Soon. So I got, we got to get the right, but just, following you two on Instagram, you do bring that joy, and it makes me look at myself and my marriage. And I really appreciate you and Chris. Just really great. So glad
that is great.
Connected with you.
I feel the same too. I really appreciate that you guys encourage others to have fun and work together as a team. And, it's just, that's what we need more of. I noticed earlier someone said, I'm 26 and I'm watching. Yeah. And I thought, young people need to see marriages that are successful and, over the course of years and the stress have maintained, their togetherness and building together. So, more of that is needed. So I really appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you. Thank you all for that. This has been so fun.
It has. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I feel like we could talk another hour.
I know.
Yes. And this is just so fun. Again, loved having you, Jamie and Susan. I'm so glad we do this. I can't wait for us to do our next one. I just love connecting with women. I mean, we really have so much to share, and we can really support each other. It's just great. Yeah.
Most usually we'll be on Monday mornings at 11. We didn't do it this week because of the holiday, but y'all can catch us either on my account or Karen's every Monday morning. So we are looking forward to our next one. We will let you know what it's going to be.
All right.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
And we'll save this in case anybody catches it on the replay. So thanks.
Share it with people that want to know about these things.
Yes. All right. Have a joyful day.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.